Hi everyone, Tom at Primus here again. So today what we're going to be going over is what do coaches look for in international players? Obviously, I'm sure if you're watching this, you're most likely probably from the UK, maybe you're from Canada, wanting to come to the US, but you could be from completely around the world. It really is very similar around the world. I might talk about some levels in the UK that I'm sure there's a comparable in the country you're coming from, whether that's Spain, Germany, whatever that might be. But what do coaches look for in international? So it's really at the beginning threefold. Is what is your footballing background and what level have you played? What grades do you have, and then what budget do you have? Now, when it comes to the finances, obviously you cannot get student loans or as many different scholarships as Americans can. So certain coaches, and when we onboard a coach and we work with a college coach, they're going to tell us what minimum budgets they need. Year one is normally going to be the most expensive because what you've got to remember is you're an unknown. Like, you are essentially a liability rather than an asset. Yes, you could come across to America and absolutely smash it and be worth every penny. You could also come across to America, fail the fitness test, have a bad attitude and go home homesick in a month. Now that coach has lost his money. So it's really important that you understand year one may be the most expensive. So you have a smaller budget, you're not going to get as many options as someone that has a larger budget. So the budget, unfortunately, does come into it in year one. Now, it also depends outside of budget on your footballing background. There are a lot of coaches, whether that's at 2-year schools or 4-year schools, that only want people that have played men's football. We have 2-year coaches that we work with that won't take anyone from us that have played less than step 3 men's football in the UK, which you guys watching from the UK know that that's a very high level. In the on the women's side of things, it would be more so looking at kind of stage 3, 4, 5 in the pyramid, mainly 4 and 5 in the pyramid rather than step 3 in the UK. It's important to understand how that looks as well on the women's side. But coaches want people that have played men's or women's football when they're looking at it. Now, not all the time. They might also want people that have played a high-level academy football. For some coaches, they don't judge. They're like, okay, this is the player I want. I can turn them into what I need them to be. Because what you've got to remember is the American game is men's football. Like, you might play against 30-year-olds. Yet it's not just going to be all 18, 19, 20-year-olds like you. There's going to be mid-20s. There's going to be a lot of older players, more experienced, that have maybe played men's football in other countries as well. So it's understanding that playing men's football, if you're here watching it and you've got 2 years till you're going to go to America and you want to do that, playing some men's football will be more favourable to coaches. Now, I know some coaches that would rather someone that's played step 5 men's football in the UK than a step 1 academy. But a lot of coaches that we work with, we've had people that have played step 5 men's football. We sent him then, and another lad that hasn't, but he's played step 1 academy. They take the men's football player. So that is something that can be really important to coaches. Now, the other thing is your academics. Now, listen, coming from the UK, we don't always have the most amazing academics as a lot of players that we work with. But it's important to understand that, one, the academics are definitely more manageable in the US. I always personally struggled with GCSEs. I mean, GCSEs to me don't make much sense. You got 5 years of schooling determined by one test in each subject. That's kind of confusing if you ask me. Whereas in America, obviously, I got the equivalent of a first in America, which you would not have believed looking at my GCSE grades. So they can be easier to manage, and it's more holistic of the individual. It's not all test-based like the UK. But having your grades coming over, if your grades are really below kind of a 2.8, starting at the NJCAA at 2-year school makes the most sense, because you're not going to qualify for any academic scholarship, and those coaches will need you to have a larger budget or might not think you're as reliable. Because if they, as a coach, really like you as a player and they like you as a person after you've had a call, and they're looking at someone else and they like them as a player and like them as a person, but you've got a 2.8 GPA and they have a 3.2, who are they going to pick? They're going to pick the player with the better grades, because it's less risk for them of potentially becoming eligible to play. They can qualify for more academic scholarship or some academic scholarship if you don't, which means it's less out of their budget or gets you closer to 100% of that in your first year. So it's really important that the grades match your expectations. If you have really good grades, then yes, 4-year schools should be what you could be striving for. 2-year schools make the most sense if your grades maybe aren't at the best level. Coaches still might take you at the 4-year level, but you're probably going to get the best options there as well. The other thing that they look for is your personality. They're looking for someone that's going to come out and not get homesick. Like they've dealt with it a lot. Coaches don't want to waste all the time bringing you out, getting you here, and then you go home homesick as well. They want to see people that are individuals and that can manage themselves as young adults. They are not bringing out immature players. Some coaches understand that, yes, obviously there's going to be an element to that. Obviously it's your first time ever abroad, but they want to bring out mature young adults that understand the responsibility they're going into. They're not just representing the team, they're representing the school, which is an educational institution that's a little bit of a different weight than just playing for your local Sunday league team back home, for example. So it's really important to know that that's what they're looking for personality-wise. They're looking for someone, listen, you don't have to be loud and out and all the way outgoing. You have to be someone that can obviously communicate effectively with the coaches, with the teammates, and you're not going to bring any issues to the team, because obviously that's when, if you want your scholarship to increase year over year, if you're causing issues in the dressing room and you're wondering why your scholarship's not increasing, even if you're playing on the pitch, that could be the reason why. So it's really important to look at obviously the budget that you have. The bigger the budget, the more options you're going to have. That's just the world that we live in. Your soccer background, have you played men's football, youth football? What is the kind of most likely place for you to start? Academics, and then your personality as well.